It's got to be rearranged. Somehow I know things have got to change. Somehow I know it's got to be Saw a bird flew down this morning as if he's saying something to me. Sitting on the limb of a tree, giving me a sound of sweet melody. I guess he's trying to tell me something that I should know about this new wind, a new wind that's gonna blow. It's the raining of the heathen coming down on my people, taking the goodness of life and rendering them evil. You see, the little that they gave you was just to deceive you. Don't tell me that you were blind. Don't let the devil fool you. Yeah. Somehow I know things have got to change. Somehow I know it's got to be rearranged. Yeah. Somehow I know things have got to change. Somehow I know it's got to be rearranged. Oh my. These words have been spoken by my master. They will come to pass. With all this injustice, this world could never last. Somehow I know things have got to change. Somehow I know it's got to be rearranged. Yeah. Somehow I know things have got to change. Somehow I know it's got to be rearranged. Somehow I know things have got to change. Somehow I know it's got to be rearranged. this morning, as if he's saying something to me. Sitting on the limb of a tree, giving me a sound of sweet melody. I guess he's trying to tell me something, something that I should know about this new wind, a new wind that's gonna blow. It's the raining of the heathen coming down on my people, taking the goodness of life and rendering them evil.
Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created
wonderful. Now we get a close up, and I hope that you're hearing me a little better because the rain is thundering down. But guess what? Life goes on. Anyway, so here we have, I've done all the major ones, and I want you to understand that we are engaging the whole body even though we're sitting. Once you raise your legs, right, and you engage all the abdominals. So this is the last one that I'm going to be doing, and I am going to be showing you just the hand. I don't know if you can see my feet. Not important, but the feet and the legs are extended straight out in front, right? So that's where they are, but doesn't even look at the camera. Don't worry about it. So, believe me, it's there. So this time we're going to flat hands here, and this exercise engages every muscle from your neck down. It does not engage the muscles in your head. So for that you have to do some other exercises. But let's get ahead with this exercise that engages every muscle in the body. Once the feet are extended out, all the leg muscles, all the abdominal muscles, the derriere muscles, the chest muscles, the arm muscles, right up to the neck muscles. So the hands are flat and all 5 fingers are pointing out. And then we're going to push down, which is a much more difficult action than pulling up, right? So we're going to push down, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 100. Oh. Okay, so remember, we are going to do 100 of these. If you're just bouncing on the back of it, on the corner of the bed, then 500 bounces will usually move all the poisons into the lymphatic system and out of the body if you have had enough water. And this exercise, which we're going to do again another day, is about engaging all the muscles in the body. Now this is an equipment which I make myself through a license from the original inventors. I make them and distribute them here in Jamaica. But if you are overseas and you would like to order one, just put in bounce back chair in your server and you will get straight to the original manufacturer. Thank you for allowing me to manufacture these in Jamaica. we have the original seats and the original springs are in force, and then the frame is made here by one of our wonderful artists. You know that in Jamaica we have the best welders. You can see the exquisite grill work and all that good wonderful fences and gates with flowers and plants and banana trees and pillar. One of my best designers of metal items, a wonderful artist, and I want them to come and show so that we can get the first-hand experience of some of our exquisite jam icons and their talents. So that's the show exercise for today. And the ideal thing for exercise, especially in bowling, is to do 2 to 5 minutes every hour. When I have clients in residence, which I will have in a day, I usually have them on this piece of equipment if they're not able to stand, that I use like paraplegics, my stroke victims, others who have like multiple sclerosis and so on. I use them to I use this for those persons, and once they have developed their balance, then they graduate to the rebounder, where they are able to bounce up and down without any. But this piece of equipment is my favorite. You know why? I can sit in here, do my exercises, and multitask. I can watch something that I have put on a video while I'm doing that. I can't watch when I'm jumping on the rebounder. But it doesn't matter which one you choose, whichever one you choose, it's going to work for you, because you are moving the poison out of your system, which is the second most important process in the healing process. Remember, our healing process is a 3-point process. Remember, we have 4 rules of cellular life, but in healing we have 3 points. 1, identify what is causing and contributing to your negative condition. Once you have identified that, then you are going to stop bringing it into your body. And this comes from all different areas, not just from your own, because most of your problem comes in from stress. And stress is the biggest problem. Next to it is nutritional. No, next to it is stress, then toxicity. And that's what we're just talking about. Or toxicity has to do with the poisons that we allow to come into our body. And sometimes it's poisons that are generated in our body. It's not poisons that we drink, but the poisons that are allowed to generate within our body. Are these colors beautiful? The most beautiful colors in the world. The colors of life. And today I'm going to show you how you can use these colors to come back into perfect health. So, back to the 3 ways of reversing your negative condition. 1, you must stop bringing any other kind of poison into the body. Remember that the contribution to your ill-health comes first of all from your stress areas. Second of all, it comes from your psychological issues. That means your toxic emotions and your toxic relationships. Remember, that emotions that are negative or do not uplift you are all toxic. That means depression, anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, anger, all of these do not help you, and they are not a part of my Creator's plan for you nor for me. So guess what I do with them? I just make sure I do not engage them, I do not support them, and I kick them out every time they try to come in. So if I have done something that I should feel guilty about, the first thing I do is I say, oh, I'm guilty. I don't want to do this again. Please forgive me, Lord. And help me not to do this again. Give me your power so that I can love the person or love the situation and learn what your purpose in bringing this into my life and my environment is. And once I find it out, voila, I am God here. No guilt, no shame, no fear. I am sorry. There is no place in my life to accomplish those things. So, when you know what is happening to me, everything coming down, because I am being scripted like me. And no, when I say everything coming down, I mean from my throat. So my sinuses are letting go everything, because I have picked up a little chip from away. But not to worry, that's why I have a strong immune system. It is going to move all of it out, up and away. So, sorry, this is what happens when you rebound. I remember one time I told them they went to the Central Post Office where they had over 1,000 workers. Everyone with a sinus condition. Because, you know, if you work in dust and you work with papers a lot, then you will find if you work with cloth or anything that generates dust particles, you're going to have sinus problems. It's the same for people who work in hairdressing parlors and anywhere where there are toxic chemicals and a lot of particles in the air. Everybody's going to have sinus problems. Well, the first thing you have to do is eliminate that. So guess what? Get a nose mask and wear it to work all the time. Then after that, you get on a rebounder program. That's first one. Eliminate it from coming. Secondly, you get a rebounder program, and if you want to buy one from me, or you want to rent one from me, or you want to use the corner of your bed to sit on, or you want to jump in the middle of the bed, they all work equally well. So, there it is, you're on that jumping program. Then you'll find the sinuses starting to drain. It won't rain if you don't have enough water in your system. So you have to make sure you have enough water in your system. So those are the first two steps. First, you must eliminate the things from coming in. Second, you must cleanse out what is inside. And I don't think I have to use the program to go and do the other things, but I am sweating, I am draining, and I hope I will be able to keep the other two until the end of the program. Or I will do it during a break. So, the other two are urinating and defecating, which is what this dosage is going to do. So, that's step number 2. Step number 3 is that we have to now repair the nutritional deficiencies, the imbalances at the chemical level. We all know that our chemistry, our energy, we call it atoms if you want, we call it molecules if you want, and we call it whatever are the smallest things that applies to the whole structure. Right? I like to use molecules because my area of training is called orthomolecular medicine and psychiatry. And so what I do is I analyze every known disease or every known symptom at the molecular level. And once you are able to identify those things at the molecular level, then we get back to write correct. To write correct. Well, it's the same thing. You can get at the correct structure of these molecules, and voila, you have 100% healing. Not my formula, it's the formula of my Creator that He has given for us to come back into perfect health. And guess where that is found? It is found in the operational handbook. So, another break. After the break, please, leave the room and
To reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created Reggae to reggae.com.
Carl, look at this young glass of candy. Oops, we are back on. And guess what? I never get to go to the history. But that too will pass. Oh, right. Okay, so now we're going to use the next half an hour to explain how you reverse the nutritional deficiency. Remember I told you everything is in the book, the operations manual. So when it comes to nutritional imbalances, deficiency, or chemical imbalances, then you have to go to the book. Alright, all book sweating, got wet. Anyway, it will dry. Alright, we're going to look at the way we reverse nutritional imbalance. Now, where is it in the book? Genesis chapter 1 verse 29. It is the guidance that was given to Adam and Eve. And here comes Daniel with my juice. Right? This is the best fruit in the world. It's cane and lime with a little cayenne pepper. Ooh. Talk about good stuff. It gives you all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the protein, all the chlorophyll, and all the enzymes that I need to give me a jump start. And it's like a lot of people talk about can't take amino acid problem. As soon as lime hits your saliva, that's in your mouth, and that means it's another thing. Anytime you're having liquids, you have to make sure you roll them around in your mouth so that they mix with your saliva to start the digestive process. So, wonderful. Now, all of those, and you see the lime, as soon as it hits the salivary glands, not the little glands, the actual saliva in your mouth, you know what happens to the acid in the lime? It turns immediately alkaline, and it alkalizes your whole body. I am here to tell you that the most alkaline fruit in the world, bar none, is lime juice. So don't let any so-called professional tell you that lime is acid. It is the most alkalizing fruit in the world. You want to know what is the most alkalizing nut in the world? Almonds. And we have them all over our country, dropping off the trees on the streets and on the sidewalks. I would like somebody to start picking up those almonds in $5 buckets. I started a group doing it, and then just fizzle out. But anybody around this country who who would like to have a very lucrative business, I will buy from you all the almonds that you can possibly find. After you have put them out to dry, crack them open with a hammer and take out the nut inside. I don't care whether the nut grind up, break up, or what. I don't need a whole nut because I'm going to grind it anyway. So remember, that is a wonderful financial opportunity that you can take advantage of. But the kids is good. Thank you. So, remember where we are at? We are at nutritional deficiencies and how do we reverse them? So, we're working at the colors. In Genesis chapter 1 verse 29 it says, I have given you, this is God talking, the Creator talking to Adam and Eve. He said, I have given you every seed-bearing herb and every tree in which the fruit is have a seed inside of it. That will be for your meat. Well, guess what? When you go back to the original Hebrew, you find out that the word translated meat means nourishment. And when you go back a little further, you will also find out that the nourishment that it gives you is called your rejuvenating food. And when you go back into that word now, you find out it says it will rejuvenate you at the cellular level. That's what the word meat means in Genesis chapter 1 verse 29. So once you understand that, then you will understand all the things. Now there are two categories. Every herb in which there is a seed and every fruit that has a seed. So guess what? When they try and give the seedless grape, tell them thank you, but no thank you please. Right? Because those are genetically altered and all the life force is gone. God has mandated us to eat only the things that have a seed if we want 100% rejuvenation at the cellular level. That is the only way and the only reason that my program is 100% successful. Because it's not mine. It is the Creator's program. And if you hang on to what He says you are to do, you'll always get it right. You know, I just love my Creator. He don't give me anything that is not in my best interest. Wow, this color guard is marvelous. Why, I tell you, this one mother all over the world like it's a little Jamaican flag on them production. Yes. As if they have it. Look, this was given to us by God. They are the colors of life. Back to the seeds. Well, you are to make sure if you are on a healing diet and you want to rejuvenate every cell in your body, that you only have food that has seeds. Now what are they? They are the fruits with seeds. Forget the seedless grape and the seedless melon. They are poison to your system. They are poison to your system. The most important thing to remember, it must have a naturally occurring seed. So we have the fruits. Then we have the vegetables, or what we call vegetables. Because most of the vegetables that we call vegetables are actually fruits. Anyway, whatever we call fruits, vegetables, because they all regenerate by planting a seed. Whether it is carrot seed, or it's pak choy seed, and all the seeds come from the bloom or the fruit of the plant, not from the leafy part, right? So that's fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, peas, beans, and grains. And that's You're seeing that in chicken or fish. There is no seed in chicken or fish. You have to make sure that it is something that comes out of the ground. That is why they are called earth fruits, reviewing the 5 elements of life. The 5 elements of life are fish air, the most important one. Number 2, pure water. Number 3, sunshine, even through the clouds. Number 4, earth fruits, and they are in that order. Most important, fresh air. Next important, water. Thirdly in importance, sunshine. And fourthly, earth foods. But before I expand on earth foods, let me make you understand that earth foods alone cannot heal your problem. Because if it is way down the line at number 4 and you ignore the amount of sunshine you should get and the amount of fresh air you should get and the amount of pure water you should get, there is no earth food in the world that is going to in any way help reverse your condition. You must start at the beginning. You must do things in the correct order. Fresh air and proper breathing is the most important thing. In fact, on my last program, I spoke about the breatharians. Those people who are able to live on fresh air. And guess what? I forgot to tell you the third thing that I mentioned that they sit and do deep, what we call yoga breathing, where you breathe in, hold the breath, and then exhale. And you keep the breath in for longer and longer and longer periods, so that you are able to exchange all of the breath in the bottom of the lungs eventually. That will be for another program. Please pardon me while I moisten my throat. Angel to the rescue. So, we were talking about the fact that you can live on fresh air alone. Fresh air, water, and sunshine. And I mentioned to you that these guys drink a lot of water, they do a lot of deep breathing, and they do a lot of exercise. So they are the ones who do the long distance running in the high altitudes like Kenyans, and those who are always winning the mile race at the Olympics. How do you think they do it? Where they develop those lungs. Not with food, but with deep breathing. So it's fresh air, then water, then sunshine, then earth foods. So if you eliminate the first 3 processes, then you will not get the effects of what the earth foods are meant to do. And I mentioned that number 4 is earth foods and number 5 is PEMS. Remember that your pulse electromagnetic fields come from your air, your sun, your water, and your earth foods. So if you cannot go out and walk on the ground and get some coming up to the bottom through the acupuncture pathways and all the other pathways that we have coming up from our hands and our feet, then you go on clear if you make sure that you have done the other 4 processes. So we're going to zero in now on the earth foods. Ta-da! Well, here we have the one that is most important. Green. You are supposed to have 50% green in your diet. What are they? They are the fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, peas, beans, and grains in their green state. Missing green color, you know. Green colored. And green can be as pale as pale can be, like, what is the palest thing I can think of? Like iceberg lettuce. It could be as pale as that, right back to the deepest green which is like this, and that's Jamaican callaloo. Jamaican callaloo, the best green in the world. It's better than spinach. It's better than anybody else's color greens. We have the most intense green in our calories, and that's the highest form of nutrition. And this green callaloo has in all the vitamins you need, all the minerals you need, all the chlorophyll you need. Listen to this one. It has in more than enough of the protein you need. What I mean is more than all. How do I know that? How could it go? What is protein about? Protein is supposed to make things multiply fast. And that is why when you have cancer, you have to have no protein. You must cut out all the extra protein. Not even beans and peas and nuts and seeds. You cut them out so that you don't feed cancer cells, which we all have in our bodies. So, remember, green has all the protein that you need. My only source of protein is callaloo and moringa. Nothing else. I don't even take in beans and peas and nuts and seeds as a protein. Semi protein here. Green. 50% of your diet should be green. Next. Yellow. This is yellow, and it includes from the palest corn or banana right back to the brightest mango, pumpkin, squash, whatever is bright orange. Carrots, everything that is bright orange, almost close to red is called a yellow. And you are supposed to have 50% green, 35% yellow. And so your yellows come from fruits and vegetables, oranges, anything that is from your palest yellow to your brightest yellow. And then we come on to the last section, which is 15%. I'm trying to read the percentages here. 15% red. 15% red. So when you're looking at a cake, it must look like this. You hear me? 50% green, 35% yellow, 15% red. What are your reds? Because they are not the carrots, they are not the pumpkins, they are not the mangoes. They are from your tomatoes, going straight back to your beetroot, your eggplant, your purple cabbage, your berries, your cherries, your plums, your apples. All of those are the reds, going right back to purple to almost black purple, right? So that's why we got a most important color here, which is black, is unity, right? So you have to have them all. The whole spectrum is absolutely essential in your journey to health. So 50% green, 35% yellow or yellow, and 15% red. The percentages. Look here. I can't exaggerate this enough, because people don't understand. Everybody I say to, you've got to have 5 servings of green a day. How does this translate into a serving? A serving is the equivalent of 1 pound of produce. That means you get a pound of carrots, and that is 1 serving. How on earth are you going to sit down and get 5 servings of green, 3 servings of yellow, and 1 serving of red? This is my general recommendation. 5 and 3, 8 and 1, 9. Can you sit down and eat 9 pounds of produce? I can. And this is why we recommend juices. Because if you have them all in juice form and combination juice form, then it's easy to go down. Right? And so what I really think we need to do is decide what we can have in juice form, what we want to have in solid form, and what we want to have in powder form. Because that is the way I take a lot of my nutrients. I get my moringa leaves from my moringa grove over there, and I spread them down out on the tent, this tent here, on some mesh so that they get air. But you have to have like a sheet of, screening that you need for mosquitoes so that the bees don't fall through on the ground. And then when they dry, they dry in about 4 to 5 days when I'm having sunlight. I take them inside and I take them and put them in a big strainer. And I just rub them out like this, and the powder just drops down into the bin below. And I have voila, moringa powder. And then I take those powder forms and I get some empty capsules. And then I pour the powder into the capsule, and then I put back on the top of the capsule, and then I put them in a little package, and then voila, moringa capsule. You can do it yourself. And you don't have to make capsules. You just make the powder, and you keep the powder in a container, and you just take out 1 teaspoon of powder a day. Will do 1 teaspoon of powder a day will give you all your nutrition for 3 green servings. How easy is that? How easy is that? And so I cut down 3. And then my other 2 green servings are, to bring it up to 5, are my avocado shake, and avocado, as in here, avocado shake, and my green salad or pepper pot soup. And then there. So in just 2 servings of what I have to eat, others I just pop down my food or sprinkle on top of my food, I'm going to eat all the time for 5 greens. And then we move on to the wheat. Now usually I like to have my yellows in either 2 8-ounce carrot juices, because 1 pound of carrot you can eat 8 ounces of carrot juice. So I usually have that in 8 ounces of carrot juice, 2 8-ounce servings of carrot juice. And this is all a day. And 1 pawpaw. Now sometimes I have bananas as one of my yellow, and cut down the carrot to 1. And then sometimes I don't have any carrot juice, because I'm going to have pumpkin raw and shredded and wonderful. And I'm going to have banana, pawpaw, and orange. I mean, that's 3 other servings. Do you understand what I'm saying? So 3 yellows. And the red now is very easy. I usually use beetroot. And, or if I don't want to use beetroot, I do tomatoes. Or I do berries or cherries. Or I do eggplant. Whatever it is that is red going back to purple red. Or going back to blacky purple. Right? Those are all wonderful. So let's remember now, 50% green, 35% yellow, and 15% red, and that is it for your nutrition. You stick to that and you will have perfect balance back at the cellular level. Now, I want you to understand that we are talking about all raw. And so when you are thinking about this, it must not be cooked food, because cooking kills all the enzymes, and when the enzymes are dead, how are you going to have a catalyst, which is what the enzymes are, to metabolize all the nutrients in the food so that you can absorb it? There is none, and your body cannot produce the enzymes to do that. Do you know what the few enzymes that your body produces is supposed to do? Are supposed to do. Those are supposed to actually help with the other bodily processes that you have. That means your opening your eyes, your movements, everything that you do requires enzymes. And so the Creator made us so that the enzymes that our body produces will be used only for our other processes, the digestive process, the process of moving our muscles, the process of the heart beating, the process of everything else. That's the purpose of the enzymes produced in our body. Why? Because he knew that you would not need any enzymes to do your actual digestion, because when you use those things to do your digestion, the ones that are produced in your body, you know what happens? There is no space, there are no enzymes left for your regular bodily function. That is why you have ethnic fatigue, otherwise called niggeritis. It means that after a heavy meal of no raw food, all the enzymes that are supposed to keep your eye open are drawn down into your stomach to attempt to digest the food that came down. And what happens? It is unsuccessful in doing that because your body does not produce enough enzymes to do that. And in addition to that, you can't keep your eyes open because all the enzymes have to come down to do this unsuccessful job in your digestive system. So understand why our bodies have enzymes. So it's not the food, because every food is supposed to have the enzyme. I have to make sure that the food colors are always showing up because it's an important part of the program, right? So, right. And in the right quantities, 50% green, alright? So, that's putting it all together. And so we have to wrap up now. How do you put this all together? I said all raw, but I want to just mention that we have done a lot of studies, Hallelujah Acres and Earl and Cherrytown Health Ministries. We have done a lot of clinical studies on the effectiveness of an all raw diet as against a partially raw diet. And what our findings have been is that you can move your cooked section up to 15%. No more. And you must have that 15% as your final meal of the day. More on that at another time. But remember, it is 85% raw, 15% cooked. And the cooked section has to be taken from the foods that heal. What are the foods that heal? The foods that heal are fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, peas, beans, and grains, all in their raw state. So you are to have 85% from that category, and then 15% will come from your neutral foods. What are your neutral foods? Your neutral foods are when you take the foods that heal and you cook them yourself to make sure that nothing else don't get added in. Right. So here we have a perfect night. And guess what? How often are you going to eat? Every 2 hours. Every 2 hours. So let's say I have breakfast at 8 o'clock. I have lunch at 12. I have dinner at 6. So this is how my diet will go. Morning I wake up and I have a cup for a breakfast. 2 hours later, I'm going to have something else. It may be a shake, it may be a handful of raisins and coconut and raisins as a snack, or sometimes I have nuts and raisins if I feel like, but most times I don't have those things. But I'm just giving you something for yourself. 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, now I have my lunch. This could be a shake, it could be a juice, as in 1 pound of produce that you push into a juicer, and out comes the juice, and you just have that as the juice. That's a meal, right? It's a serving. You only need enough. If you are doing it every 2 hours, you don't need a whole big wok of stuff every time you sit down. And you never get hungry in between, right? When I have clients in residence, they keep saying, food again. Of course, when they came in, they're all up in arms and then bring a whole heap of snacks stuck up into the bottom of their bags. Of course, I don't run search at the door, but I make them know that any time any of them snacks into my house, they shall be dumped and burnt. I'm not even giving them away. Please. So, you need to understand that when you're eating every 2 hours, you don't have to eat a lot. So we recommend 7 servings for the day, 7 servings. So if you want to go 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8. Wonderful. Right? So you go 88 or 77 or 66. And it doesn't matter if you are going to have your last meal at 6. Because what you are eating not going to sit down for you. It is going to be wonderfully metabolized by your body during the night. So, I hope I have told you everything I need to do about coming back into health. Just to review, remember that the 5 elements of life have to be employed. First, it is the fresh air. Then it is the pure water. Number 3 is your wonderful sunshine. Number 4 is your earth foods. And number 5 is your PEMF or pulse electromagnetic fields. That's for the elements of life. And then you have to make sure that you have your step 3 program. Step 3? 3-step program. Alright. Number 1, eliminate. Stop from coming into your body everything that contributes to your negative condition. 2, get rid of the poisons that are in your body by the cleansing of your eliminatory organs. How do you cleanse your eliminatory organs? You just increase their output by drinking more water, by exercising, as in rebounding and moving the lymphatic system so that it can carry the things to your eliminatory organs through your lymph nodes. And when it gets there to come out of your body, I did have a break. So, remember, you're getting it out through your sweat, you're getting it out through your urine, you're getting it out through your feces, you're getting it out through your mucus drainage, and that's all the toxins in your body. They gotta come out through one of those things. And guess what? Rebounding or bouncing will move all poisons out of your body once they have enough water. So you see why food is not the most important thing? Water, water, water is number 2. Or, yes, it's number 2. Air, then water, then sun, then earth. So, I hope I've covered everything when it comes to health and know where you're going. Rule number 1, which is what we covered as our people do our 4 rules. Rule number 1 says, when it comes to physical health, you must know where you're going. You must have a goal, right? So if it is your goal is to lose weight, reverse your conditions, enjoy life, start gymnastics, whatever it is, you must have a goal. And know that if that goal is impossible, it has been placed to you by your Creator. And so He is going to come alongside to be engaged in the realizing of that goal. So, is there anything else I need to tell you? Well, just remember, you have to log on to Celebrate Life. Oh, I need to remind you that come October 5th, we will be starting our family finishing school. And you need to call us to register or to get more information. It will be every Shabbat or every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Or it may be 1:30 to 3:30. And we are going to be covering everything you need to be totally confident when you go into social situations. Am I looking? Am I sounding right? Am I doing the right thing? Did I use the wrong phone? Or did I do it correctly? Am I comfortable? It's not about being perfect now. It's about being comfortable in every situation. So that whether you are on the beach eating, tearing fish with your fingers, or you are invited to King's house for a formal dinner, you know exactly how to behave. And so I'm inviting children, parents, everybody's going to come and have fun as they learn to do all these things. We're also going to be including posture walking so that we can use it to improve our self-esteem, our sense of self. How do you carry yourself? And how do you feel confident about whatever your idiosyncrasies are? So, remember, Celebrate Life is about celebrating what your Creator has blessed you with. Because every single one of us is a masterpiece. A masterpiece that is so unique. There is nobody quite like you. Please remember, I don't care what your challenges are. I don't care what your idiosyncrasies are. I don't care what your failings are. Nor mine either. But I am here to tell you that I enjoy every moment of every day. And I would like you to come along with me on this journey and teach your children to do that. Teach your colleagues to do that. Teach your workmates to do that. Your schoolmates, your neighborhood friends. Gather all around, and if you can't watch my program from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock every day when it comes on light on reggae2reggae.com, then just go back in every evening and bring over the whole family, or bring together the neighborhood or the school or whatever, and have it as an opportunity to learn how you are blessed and highly favored, how you were created to excel and to be successful and prosperous. Learn how you can celebrate your life every moment of every day. And today, I want to end with a prayer. This prayer is actually our national anthem. And I am encouraging every single person, every family to get together and to pray this prayer. I would like you to decide, 1 second please. Hail juice to the rescue. I would like you to either decide to do the pledge in the morning or the prayer as our national anthem is in the evening. It doesn't matter, whichever one, but you have to do both of them every day. And of course, the most important part of this is the affirmation. And it says, I believe I am the best thing that God has created for this time, for the purpose of building Jamaica and blessing the whole human race. So, let's do our prayer. Eternal Father, bless our land. Guard us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Be our light through countless hours. Through our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Teach us true respect for all. Stir response to duty's call. Strengthen us the weak to cherish. Give us vision, lest we perish. Knowledge grant us, Heavenly Father. Grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be ours forever. Jamaica, land here. This Isn't it wonderful to be a Jamaican? Isn't it wonderful to be a part of what God has planned for these end times? Isn't it wonderful to be alive at this time, in this season, so that we can be part of all that is going to happen to bring this whole world system, to usher in the new kingdom? I just want to be a part of it. Don't you? So remember, every day we can celebrate life with me as you log on team dun, 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 12 noon and 1, or do a rebroadcast wherever you are. And remember, if you don't have a bounce back chair, there's always a corner of your bed or the middle of the bed. So if you're a sitter, sit on the corner of the bed, you get your bouncing going, and if you are a stander, stand in the middle of the bed and jump. Remember, it's 500 jumps per hour. So you do 500 jumps, it should take you about 3 minutes, and after that, you are going to forget it. And bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Remember, celebrate life. Celebrate life. Hallelujah. Are we up here?
That they gave you was just to deceive you. Don't tell me that you were blind. Don't let the devil fool you. Oh, oh, yeah. Somehow I know things have got to change. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Somehow I know it's got to be rearranged. Ooh, oh, oh, yeah. Somehow I know things have got to change. Ooh, somehow I know it's got to be rearranged. Ooh, yeah, oh, oh.
Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. On reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Total Tutor Show. I'm the host of the show, Neil Haley. You got to go to my website, TotalTutor.net, for more information. Twitter, Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, and I want to welcome the program, my co-host, Jared. And Jared, I'm so excited always when we have celebrities, and this guy has an unbelievable story. So, Jared, thanks again for calling and being my co-host for today.
Oh, no problem, and I'm glad to be a part of the show. And boy, when you talk about a resume, Kevin is right up there with having the total package of a resume.
A story, an unbelievable story. So I want to welcome the program, former NFL player and play-by-play announcer for the Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin Riley. Kevin, thanks for calling.
Hey, it's a pleasure being on with you guys, and always good to talk to a guy who's rooting for the second best team in Pennsylvania.
Yes, just right one weekend, and Trey Thomas I had on my show, Kevin, a couple months ago, and that's awesome. Especially with him having the opportunity to be an assistant and stuff. So, all right, let's jump right into specifically, Kevin, your background. Kind of the story, because kind of we're painting a picture in certain aspects, a little bit of background of your NFL career, and then specifically when things really changed.
You know, I was very fortunate during my college days at Villanova not to be injured, and two guys were drafted, one in the first round, a guy by the name of Mike Ciani, and a guy in the second round, John Babinett. Ciani got drafted by Oakland, and Babineaux got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, and I was a junior. And this was before, they had the combine. So scouts were the only thing that they had to gear people with. And because of those two guys getting drafted and getting a lot of attention, I started to get some attention and was fortunate enough to be a 7th-round draft pick the following year of the Miami Dolphins, who, by the way, were coming off the 1972 undefeated season. And it was a little intimidating, guys, to be in a locker room at 22 years of age with guys that you have been reading about in Sports Illustrated since your junior year in college. And there were only, or junior year actually in high school, and there were only 2 slots available on that Miami team, and we had 28 rookies that were vying for the opportunity.
Kevin, that's what I was just going to say. You talk about intimidating. You're you're going to a team with a perfect record, which means there's some talent there. So let me ask you, how did you approach that? What was your technique?
Well, it's really interesting, and on top of them having some talent, Don Shula was a little bit like on the side of believing in a little bit of luck, and also the camaraderie of that team. He did not want to fix what wasn't broken, and as a result of that, they did win back-to-back Super Bowls. But getting back to your question, there were 28 guys in the team. We're in the Miami heat for 2.5 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours in the afternoon. And, guys, that was the last year they didn't allow water on the practice field. So you can imagine, the pain and suffering that went on during those 2-a-days. And who wanted to stick around when the odds were against you like that? Almost every night for 2 weeks, we would have 1, 2, sometimes 3 guys leave in the middle of the night that had just had enough and weren't going to be cannon fodder. And they called us mullets. Mullets are what dolphins eat in the sea. And I just made up my mind, and I guess it was my background, that I was going to be sent home. I'm a big believer in consistent persistence. And I said, if I don't make this team, they're going to send me home. I'm not leaving on my own. And a week before the first game, it came down to me and Don Strock being on the team, and everybody was patting me on the back, saying, hey, I think you got the team made. And the following day, Don Shula called me into his office and said, I got good news for you and bad news. The bad news is we've decided that we need a defensive end, and we've made a 3-way trade with Philadelphia and the Jets. And the good news is you're going to go to Philadelphia. Well, that was the good news, except they won back-to-back Super Bowls, and I'd like to have been there. But had I not stuck it out, I probably would not have had the value to the Eagles of making it down to the last cut with the world champions. And when I got to Philadelphia, I distinguished myself on special teams. There was a guy by the name of Bill Berkey. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, but he
we know him. Yes.
Yeah, he was playing in front of me, and I didn't have a chance of beating him out. So I decided to really focus on special teams, and I became the captain. And then a dream came true.
The hard work paid off, not giving up, especially being on a team, Kevin, that, again, is a team that you didn't have a great chance of making. And then you get your opportunity with the Philadelphia Eagles, and you see that your role is a role that a lot of people don't like playing in special teams, but you took that role on and said, I'm going to persevere through this and be successful at it, right?
Well, it was my boyhood dream. Back in the day before there were 300 channels on TV, all we had to do was go out in the backyard in the early 60s and mid-60s and pretend. And pretend was another way of dreaming. And I'd be lying to both of you. I didn't say that I, wasn't dreaming of someday wearing a Phillies uniform or an Eagles uniform. And so I'll fast forward. You were playing Monday Night Football, first time in 5 years that the Eagles have been on. We're playing our arch rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, who have beaten us 9 straight times. And we got a shot to win this ball game. And everybody's excited. And about 1 hour before the game, Jared, a name that will come to you real quick, a guy by the name of Dick LeBeau in his first year of coaching, he was my special teams coach. He said, Riley, get the kickoff team and get in our meeting room. Well, that never happened, and I had no idea what this was about. And we get in there, and Dick tells us that we are going to be introduced before the game because they wanted to get the fans in Philadelphia. They wanted to get the 12th man into the game. And as you know, the Philadelphia fans, a lot of blue-collar people go to those games, and they take their football very seriously. So imagine, I'm the last guy in line. I'm looking down this tunnel, and I got to pinch myself. I can hardly believe it. I'm getting ready to be introduced in front of 70,000 screaming people who have been drinking since noon, by the way. and there's about 12 million people watching on TV. And so about the first 4 or 5 guys that got introduced, the crowd got it. And it got so loud I couldn't hear the guy in front of me. And the hair on the back of my head was standing up. And then our public announcer, who was a friend of mine, gave me a little more mustard on the introduction when he said, and now from Wilmington, Delaware, and Villanova University, captain of the special teams, our own Kevin Riley. Well, guys, I don't even remember my feet hitting the AstroTurf. And when I hit the huddle with 10 guys, who, by the way, were setting personal high jump records, it was just unbelievable. You know, this was what Andy Warhol would call your 15 minutes of fame. I'm 235 pounds. I got a 4.740. I bench press 400 pounds, and I'm playing in front of the home team. It doesn't get any better than this. We won that game on a last-second field goal by Tom Dempsey. It was just the things that great stories are made of. But then, just when things were going so right, 5 years later, I wake up in Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York City, minus a left arm, a left shoulder, and 4 ribs, due to a tumor that I got from playing special teams in the NFL.
Wow. Isn't that
Tell us a little bit more of that. What was the diagnosis? What was the how did you talked about your consistent persistence. We use the term on this show so much with our guests, and that's perseverance, I think, which is very similar to what you described. I'd like you to tell us, you get that diagnosis, what do you do? How do you handle it?
Well, the reason I told you the first story about my 15 minutes of fame, I just didn't fall from average Joe to this position. Mm-hmm. I felt a very proud professional athlete who, really took care of his body. And all of a sudden, I look and I'm missing most of the left side of my body. And then I had the doctor come in 1 hour after I was out of intensive care and in my own room, and he said, I think I got it all. Now, I had 11 hours I was under the knife, and this was before MRIs and lasers. So I lost a lot of blood, and I was under a long time. As a matter of fact, they told me they gave me 20 units of blood during the operation. And a funny thing happened, guys. When I got out, I could speak Spanish. I like black-eyed peas, and I also like gin. I don't know what that meant, but that was one of the good things that happened to me. But anyway, I wake up in this, after that little message from the doctor, what, you didn't get it all? You don't know? And that's when it really got disturbing to me. I called in the head nurse and I said, hey, listen, I don't want any visitors today. And I don't want any phone calls. And I was going to have a major pity party. And an hour into my pity party, a guy appears at the doorway with credentials. And as he walks towards me, I can see that he's missing his left arm. His name was Frank. He was 64 years old. He had lost his arm in World War II, and he was there to counsel me on all the things that I, would need to know about being handicapped and an amputee. And those 2 words hit me in the middle of the forehead like a isolation block from a 230-pound fullback. I wasn't ready for them. I wasn't ready for Frank. And to tell you the truth, I'll go through a long story. He told me things that I would never be able to tie my tie again, and I can do that today. And he told me I'd have to get Velcro flap shoes if I wanted to wear tie shoes and get them prepared, pre-tied.
Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 R's of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 R's of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 R's of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 R's of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. On reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience. On reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience. On reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience.
And when he left there, I know he was trying to help me, but he really depressed me.
Oh, my.
Okay. Here I went into this depression, and the nurse appears again and says, I have a telephone call for you. And I go, listen, I can't talk to anybody. That guy that just came in here that snuck in, he just depressed the hell out of me. And they said, no, I think you'd want to talk to this guy. Well, Jared, you're going to love who this guy is. We had known each other a little bit, and through the Dick LeBeau connection, it was none other than the great Rocky Bleier.
Oh, Rocky's been on my show too, Kevin, so that's interesting. That's cool.
Rocky and I, we knew each other. I can't say we were great friends, but here was an NFL, alumni in trouble, and he called me, and I took the call because if you know Rocky's story, this was a guy that I knew could at least associate with my pain and my despair. And we had a great talk. And after that talk, Rocky said to me, by the way, have any of the doctors or the nurses been in to tell you about your limitations? And I said, no, but there was this well-meaning volunteer that came in and depressed me. And Rocky listened with the intent of a school child. And then when I got done, he said with a voice and a passion I'll never be able to duplicate for you guys, but he said, you must promise me something. You must promise me that you won't quit on anything until you try it 3 times. And I said, well, Rock, I said, this guy that was in here has been missing his arm for almost 30 years. He's got to be a little more of an expert in that area than you are. And that's when Rocky said, let me tell you something about experts. Experts built the Titanic and amateurs built the Ark. Experts can be wrong.
And the direction of this story, again, it's such a sharp connection to this show, and we talk so much about avoiding limits, avoiding labels. So our advice to our parents is, if you're looking at a challenging circumstance with your family, your child, let's not look at the limitations that appear to be there. Let's look at what the opportunities that lie ahead of us.
Well, without a doubt. And, I promised Rocky I would try everything 3 times. And he sent me this little poem that I've memorized, and I say it instead of counting to 10. And there are 3 things I found out after 34 years I can't do. I can't play the guitar, I can't jump rope, and I can't give the left-hand signal to angry motors on I-95 when I'm angry. But other than that, I was told I wouldn't be able to jog again. Don't do that, you'll have disc problems. I was told to stay away from the golf course because, with one arm, if I hit behind the ball, I might break my wrist. And because of Rocky, I decided that I was just going to not listen to anybody setting the bar low for me. And I've run in 5 half marathons, a full marathon, and I've broke 90 in golf twice, something I never did with one arm. It's amazing what happens when you slow the game down. And I don't say to anybody, look at what I've accomplished. I say that the human spirit is tougher than anything that can happen to it.
That's so true.
And I'll say that again. The human spirit is tougher than anything that can happen to it. I have counseled hundreds of people since my operation, and I can tell you that people call upon it, unfortunately, only most of the time when they're in a crisis situation. They find that they can go deeper and further than they ever imagined. And I sometimes wonder when I give my speeches, why do we wait until there's a crisis?
Right.
There's a guy in the NFL, he's not in anymore, but a guy that had no right from a standpoint of athleticism, or maybe not athleticism, but from a standpoint of mechanics, to be an NFL quarterback, and that's Tim Tebow. But he discovered the human spirit, and he believed in himself being a winner, that he could get the job done, and somehow he convinced 43 guys on the team with him.
Yeah.
So the human spirit's in every one of us. The problem I find with people going through crisis, when I go down for Walter Reed, it's the loved ones, the friends, and the associates that set the bar low for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of empathy. It's not a meanness. It's not an unchristian thing. They feel self-sorry. They feel empathy. And one of the greatest things that I get is going down to Walter Reed on occasion. These guys got a great attitude, guys and gals, and they're always looking to put it forward and to test the limits of what they can do.
Well, fantastic.
So, that's my story in a nutshell. And not that I'm still not faced with challenges. 4 years ago, and I won't mention the name, a national broadcaster who's listened to me and on radio thinks I do a great job, said, it's a shame. I said, what's a shame? You'll never do an NFL game because you deserve to do that shot. And I said, why wouldn't that happen on TV? And he said, well, because the focus would be on your amputated arm, that empty sleeve. Oh, they'll never put you on camera. Well, that just gave me the juice to pursue it. And 3 years ago, along with Herm Edwards and Hugh Douglas, I did all 4 preseason games for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so I feel very, confident and proud that I was able to break that ceiling, not only for myself, but for other people that have disabilities.
Well, Kevin, when we get back, we're going to talk more about specifically your story, because it wasn't just after going through being an amputee. You had some ups and downs in your life again to persevere to get to where you are today with the Eagles. So it wasn't just like, hey, a perfect life. There were lots of bumps in the road. You're listening to Total Tutors Show, powered by the Beach Lifestyle Celebrity Segment with Jarrett and Kevin Riley, former NFL player and Philadelphia Eagles broadcaster. And we'll be back in just a moment. We're back to the Total Tutor Show, powered by the Beach Lifestyle Celebrity Segment. TotalTutor.net for more information. Twitter, Total Tutor. Neil S. Haley, Facebook. I'm with my co-host, Jarrett, and I'm talking to Kevin Riley. And, Kevin, you're very inspiring. And the reason I see this is because, specifically enough, someone like Rocky Bleier called you out and said, you know what, you can do more. And I think you lived that throughout your life in all different circumstances, to life after football, to life in the career world. So tell us specifically, once you got out of the hospital, how did you turn your life around to be able to be a very successful person in life?
Well, as you said, there was ups and downs. I came out of the hospital and there was a headline in one of the Philadelphia papers. One of the sports writers had caught me on a morphine high, and I sounded great, and I told her that, tell everybody back in Philly I'll be back. And she put it on the headlines of this thing called the Philadelphia Daily News. And, right out of the box, I thought I had to go out and be Superman and prove to everybody I could do everything. And so I went back to work in January. The operation was only, 2 months old, and by about March, I had hit a wall mentally and physically. And it was really, really tough because I didn't want to admit that. Here I was, this NFL, you don't admit failure, you don't admit the fact that you're down. And I went through some really trying times, and I developed some depression over that. And eventually I came out of that situation, but I also tell people don't rush back and set realistic expectations, and my expectations weren't realistic at the time. So then I started to set some realistic expectations, and fortunate for me, nobody really handicapped me with coming back to work. They gave me my job back as a sales manager. They gave me an adult budget to go with it, I might add. But, everywhere that I went, people were giving me the opportunity to be me. And that's all I wanted to do was be me. And, I raised 3 kids, and they're all happily married right now. And I got 10 grandkids, and it's gone from there. But as I look back, there were peaks and valleys. And what I tell people when I speak is, so for some of you out there in the crowd, things are going well in your life. Your job's going well, your health's good, everything's. Enjoy it because it won't last long. And then I raised my voice to almost yell. And for some of you who haven't heard me until I raised my voice, who are going through some problems and crisis in your life, hang in there because they won't last long either. And I think if you buy into that scenario, you're going to come out of your challenge. There's going to be good times, but being a realist, you may have to go back to some more challenges. And I'm 62 years old, and I'm not naive enough to think that there's not more challenges in my life. But right now, things are very good.
Right, and realistically, I mean, that's just the approach that we know happens. Life does not go necessarily the way we think it should be scripted. And, there's adversity in everyone's life, maybe not to the degree of some people, but we know it's there. And, we talk a lot on this show is the quality of that person is not how they handle themselves during the good times, but how they handle themselves when adversity is right in front of them.
Absolutely. And, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, and I have a great faith in God. And I believe that when you pray to whoever God you pray to, that he's got 3 answers, not 2. Yes, no, and not right now. So you've got to believe that and keep doing, the things that you can control, and the things you can't control, put them in the hands of God. I say that God will help you move mountains, but make sure you bring your own wheelbarrow.
Oh, that definitely, Kevin, and that's where I go about my life. Again, I'm a devout Catholic, and I see specifically when I didn't have God, when I dealt with things in my life as a professional wrestler and was living in, a horrible life in a lot of ways as a professional athlete, I tell myself all the time, if I would have had God from the beginning, where would I be now? Because ultimately, I'm dealing with lots of difficulties, but I had the perseverance to move forward. And I guess that's what you try to teach to lots of people, don't you, Kevin?
Yeah, you do. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, the day of my operation, it was 5:30 in the morning on a very chilly, rainy October day, and it was still dark outside. And I was shaking from fear and being cold. I knew it was going to be a long day, and the priest came in and gave me, communion. And that settled me down a little bit. And then they gave me a tranquilizer shot to ease my nerves. And I was feeling no pain as I laid there on a gurney in pre-op with about 7 or 8 other patients. And we were talking casually, and I wasn't feeling any pain. And the Catholic priest is approaching, coming down the hallway. And I thought he was going to administer to another one of the patients on a gurney. And he walked up to me, and he said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "For what?" And he said, "The sacrament of the sick." Well, Neil, you and I know as old altar boys, that was known as the last rite.
Yes.
Right. And he saw the, bewildered look on my face, and he said, "Well, Dr. Marco, my doctor, he has been here, hasn't he?" Well, the good doc was late again and was coming up the rear, right behind the priest, and he had a little sheet of paper for me, and it had about 5 or 6 sentences on it, and I only remember one. I had to sign a piece of paper, and it said, "You as the adult in this operation understand that there is a 33% that you will not survive the procedure." And Johnny Carson would say, "Guys, I did not know that." And I can tell you that the next 30 minutes were not about my NFL experience, the great family that I have, my house in the suburbs. It wasn't about any of that. It was about what was my relationship with my Creator, because there was a good chance in the next hour or two, there was a 30% chance I'd be meeting him. And so I wish that on no one, that you come to a life crisis. But believe me, if you do, the fog clears very quickly to tell you what's really important in life. And so I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I made some promises on that gurney. And I said, if you pull me through this, I'll even do the 2:30 p.m. interview with Neil Haley someday.
Well, then you know what? You have suffered enough. I will tell you that right now.
Oh, man.
You got to believe sometimes that God's got better plans for us than we do. And what seems to be a disappointment is really, in the long run, something that turns out well for you. Who knows how my life would have turned out if this didn't happen to me?
Kevin, I want to jump in here. One of the reasons, this is Jarrett, one of the reasons that I so much want to be a part of the celebrity interviews, particularly when we have this kind of story. My son has my 7-year-old adopted son has a disorder, and our audience has heard me talk about this, called NF2, neurofibromatosis type 2. And it's reminiscent of cancer. The tumors are in the brain and the spine, and they are almost always non-malignant. They're benign, but they create tremendous damage to the nerves. And you talked about your surgery and how that left you. Right now, if you saw my son, he would look totally healthy. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have significant challenges in front of him. But the approach that we take is similar. My wife and I take is similar to what you have described. He's only 7, but we try to we don't limit him in any way. He has done amazing things such as skiing, snowboarding, surfing, zip lining, indoor skydiving, because we want him to persevere when his life does get hard, get tough. And when I hear the story that you've described, the way you persevered, your consistent persistence, what's the future going to look like for you?
Well, I worry really about one day, 1 week, 1 month at a time. And right now, I'm healthy and I try to stay healthy. I just came in before I talked to you guys. I got 3.5 miles in. I'm, as the doctor said 12 years later, the tumor I have is not going to kill me. Something else will. And something's going to take all of us. So I'm trying to stay healthy right now for these 10 grandkids that I have, and this what I feel is this crusade is to get out and talk to people about the human spirit. I just want to tell people, wake up, it's in there. God gave it to every single one of us. And just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and start to think positive and get out there. There's always somebody who's feeling worse today than you are, no matter how low you are.
Truly.
Right. And, you talk about your son, you're doing all the right things. He's living life. He's not sitting around, and you're not sitting around bemoaning the situation. And he may be happier than some well-adjusted kids that are living in, without any injuries or diseases whatsoever. Exactly. They're not happy. So it's all relative that way. And I commend you for doing that. That's all I wanted to be treated was as normal. Don't set the bar low for me. Let me set it myself. And I try to tell people, it's amazing. I go into amputees, and already family members have said, well, we're going to get that ramp built for you outside and so we can wheel you up. They're thinking in the right terms, but who wants a ramp out there putting a label on that there's somebody in here that's going to be in a wheelchair and may not get the prosthetics that they need? And then the next thing you know, I see this person that you're talking to talking about doing that, and a year later he's in a 5K run with me with 2 prosthetics, right from Walter Reed doing his first 5K. And that's because he took the high road. He took he raised the bar. So, that's my message to people. We all have the ability to challenge ourselves, and then, the people around us, let them feed us, let them give us the gas, go onward.
What we're really excited about, Jared, is he's part of one of the insightful players, and we're going to be interviewing a series of them, Jared, and they're all awesome people. Kevin, how did you get involved in that? Just to give our audience a little background quickly on that, and your friendship.
I got to give a.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Chrissy Carew somehow came across my story and called me one day and asked me if she could write it up, and I thought about it for a while, and I got back to her. I said, "Sure, why not?" And you could. 30 years of sales have really conditioned me to read people pretty quickly, and I read her as being a really compassionate, a person who was really trying to do the right thing and highlight some of the positive things that happen in sports, because we know pick up the newspaper or go online every day and find, something bad in sports, and the media seems to really dig into those stories. And, I gave her my story, and we shopped it around a little bit, and she's had me on a couple, radio shows, and her and I did a joint speaking engagement together at a school up in the Harrisburg area earlier this spring that was just incredible. We did it with the kids, and she's just a tremendous story in herself, because she believes in, highlighting the positive rather than the negative, and that's how I got in touch with her.
And Kevin, the funny thing is, I know we're going to be working with them, and I'm so excited. And it was just based on going on LinkedIn. It was out in Harrow, and we never connected, and I liked it on LinkedIn. And before you know it, we're on the phone, and you're on my show. But I thank you for persevering to come on my show at 2:30. So where can we find information on you, Kevin? Learn more about what you do and all the different things and how you can help others.
Well, if you go onto my website, it's www.kriley, R-E-I-L-L-Y, www.kriley.com. All the information you need, and I got a couple little videos on there. I speak all over the country. I'll be going to Montana in March and California in April. And I just love doing this because I think I can really help some people. What Rocky Bleier did for me, I want to do for other people. He was he was that safety net that kept me from falling all the way down into despair. And if I can do that for, 3 or 4 people every place I speak, then I feel good about it. So they can reach me on there, and I'm also on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's K Riley, and just go in there and check it out. And I'll be mostly reporting on the Eagles the next couple months, but everything's good, guys.
Well, Kevin, I'll be tweeting you out as well, some stuff, all the stations that were syndicated on when the radio interview airs, so that your followers can keep up with it. And Jarrett, I know you have one more question.
I do, and this one's for Kevin. How's the broadcast team keeping up with this incredibly rapid pace of that offense now?
It was really funny because the icon of the Philadelphia broadcasters is a guy named Merrill Reese. He's been doing this almost 30 years now, might be 30. And he was as excited as a kid at Christmas doing the first quarter where they ran 30 plays. It was watching him and hearing him try to describe the action. And Mike Quick, his counterpart, who played a little bit after me, great wide receiver for the Eagles. He's the analyst. The two of them were like kids at Christmas. But, on our post-game show, Jared, we got calls from Florida, Georgia, Alaska. It was like the Eagle Nation had been woken up after years of being asleep. So We'll see if this can continue. But it's an exciting brand of football that Chip Kelly has brought. And I said in the very beginning when everybody asked me about this guy and I'd met him and talked to him, I said, he is either going to set the NFL on its ear or he's the best snake oil salesman I've ever met.
And it's so funny, Kevin. I had Randall Cunningham on my show as well, and that's when I loved the Eagles with Mike Quick and Randall Cunningham and all that stuff. So Randall was a fantastic guy as well on my show. But thanks for calling, Kevin. Keep up to date. We'll definitely have you back on again. We'll stay in touch. And I hope the Steelers have a better record than the Eagles. Sorry about that, saying that, Kevin. Well, go Steelers.
Anytime, guys. I really enjoyed it.
All right, take care now. All right, see ya. Okay, bye. You're listening to Total Tutor Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com. Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created